Good afternoon. My name is Sulaiman AlKadi, and this is my official presentation for my personal project showcase. I hope you're all doing well. So, without any further ado, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, as a simple introduction, my name is Sulaiman AlKadi. I am a 10th grade IB student at King Faisal Schools, and I'll be showcasing and discussing my personal project, which I spent this entire last year undergoing and performing and executing. So, my project is titled The Effect of Different Technological Advancements on Individual Careers and on the Workforce as a Whole. And it essentially revolves around a kind of investigation. So, moving on. So just for some simple introduction, why did I choose this topic? So I chose this topic for various reasons. So first of all, I was extremely interested in various technologies and how those technologies are interrelated with various economic concepts, especially ones that are personally relevant to me as an aspiring student who is in a couple of years hopefully going to enter the workforce. It is absolutely crucial for me, for my fellow students, and for those around me to recognize and realize what jobs are critical, what jobs are important, what jobs are at risk, or perhaps being taken over by automation. This is something that we all continuously hear about, and it is something that we should be critical and wary of. So, yeah, and that is my personal connection to it because it is something that I can personally relate to. With regards to the pursuing of this project, I decided the way in which I can best, most technically and efficiently pursue this project in a way that is highly challenging and beneficial to me as an IB student is through an investigation, a multi-part investigation to be specific. I'll detail my products later on. So, moving on. Goal, global context, criteria, and action plan. So as I started my personal project, I had to realize and laser in on all of these various ideas that are critical to me undergoing my project. Regarding my goal, as I mentioned earlier, was to create an accurate, reliable, and well undergone investigation that critically reflects and tackles the topic in question. My global context was globalization and sustainability, since it is the one that best fits my personal goal and idea for the personal project. It is the one that is most closely intertwined because it tackles human interconnectedness. It tackles these very societal concepts that are crucial to us as human beings in being sustainable and being a globalized species. So for my criteria are detailed well within my personal project report and on ManageBack. And essentially, they were designed with the idea to be as rigorous as possible, to create, to outline and mold this picture perfect product, which would allow me to nurture and exhibit and execute my various skills. My action plan was also similarly suited. It was the schedule that I created in order to best look at how I am expected to go about this project. Personally, I am not a very schedule oriented person, so my action plan was a bit more loose, but it still helped give this structure to my project, what I would do and when I would roughly plan on doing it. So moving on. Product. So, as I mentioned earlier, my product was vaguely an investigation, and that investigation had several varying different aspects. The first investigation, or rather, first product, was a video debate. And as you can see, a screenshot of here, it was a 15-minute long debate where I had and moderated two various opposing sides, people who are very interested and invested in the topic, and I had them discuss the topic and the topic in question. One person was with automation, they supported the idea and how to create jobs, and the opposing side argued against that. And I moderated, I asked several questions, and I was able to execute and perform this critical debate that allowed me personally to form new perspectives. I also had an essay where I looked into a specific case study of teachers, something that I am personally surrounded by as a student, and I discussed and I researched that intensely. And finally, I had a presentation where I looked at the topic as a whole and I lasered in on specific aspects. Here I have some data, some graphs that are extracts from my presentation. So moving on. So processes and difficulties, I faced many various difficulties across my project. So as I mentioned earlier, my action plan was somewhat difficult to produce since I'm not a very schedule-oriented person, but eventually I was able to nurture those skills and execute my time management well by combining that with the principled IB learner profile. This prolonged time management was also far more difficult on me as a person. Finding accurate research was also another difficulty. Since my project is again investigation based and I do not have that much background in technical non-objective research, I found that finding accurate resources, especially when my resources nowadays in the pandemic are very limited, was also quite challenging. Also, analyzing those sources and looking into them specifically and analyzing them critically was also another challenge, as you may see in the slide. So moving on, reflections on growth. So as an IB learner, I have grown extensively and so much as a person. I was able to nurture several skills. As I mentioned, I was able to nurture my time management skills, my skills as a principled IB student. I was able to become a much better critical thinker. I was able to look at things with new and form new perspectives. I was also able to communicate. I communicated with many, many different people across the length of my project, whether those people were experts, whether that person was my supervisor, the personal project director. I was able to nurture my communication skills in a respectful manner that allows me to communicate exactly what it is that I want to communicate. With regards to that, as an IB student, many of the specific skills that I earned throughout the project, specifically the research skills, are extremely beneficial to me as an IB student. And so they were these things that I was able to exercise and execute. I became a better researcher. I became a better person at looking at things critically. I became a better debater. And throughout that entire project, I was able to consistently receive and take feedback, and I was able to reflect on my process. Again, another IB learner profile. And so those are just the main ones. There are many more, of course. But yeah, that brings my showcase to an end. Thank you so much for listening. I wish you all the best. Thank you.